Good morning. So before I go working out in the garden, because it's a nice cool day, I'm looking, it is 60 degrees outside, doors and windows are open. So I am going to make the mango fruit leather, and then I'm going to go stake up some more tomato plants and weed some in the garden. So we're going to get started here in a second. Let me go take care of Cinnamon and maybe she'll stop, and then we'll get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to peel the mangoes and put them in my blender. So I know you can't really see my face because you can see part of me. Now this mango is kind of, no, where's the one? One of them has a bad spot on it. So, but the mango itself should still be good. We'll see when we cut into it if it's good or not, and go from there. One of them I had to throw away because it was not any good anymore. So mangoes are kind of like avocados in my opinion. They go from not ripe to ripe super fast. So this one's not that bad. And I'm hoping if I ignore her, she'll just stop. I say she's like a 3-year-old. So I'm just going to cut that bad part off. Yeah. And keep going. So I'm just peeling it over a bowl because I didn't want to be standing over the trash can. So this is easier to me, and then I can just dump the peelings in the trash can when I'm done and throw my bowl in the dishwasher. So it's just, and there's a huge pit inside the mango. Your knife will find it, just be very careful, and just cut on the outside of that pit. I love mangoes, and I have a mango salsa recipe that I love, but I haven't made it in a long time. It makes a lot, which is probably why I haven't made it. And I haven't made it since Steve and the boys have been here, and maybe I should. They would probably love it. It's a lot of chopping though. You have mangoes, you have cucumbers, cilantro, red onions. I'm trying to think what else. Lime juice goes in it. But it is so good. It's good with like blackened fish, like blackened mahi. And she is not happy. She is kind of ornery this morning, so she'll be all right. She'll get over it. I just apologize for all the barking, but I love her dearly. She's my baby girl. So I'm just going to peel these and chop them and put them in the blender, and then I'll be back. Okay, so I figured out what she wanted. She could smell this fruit. And so I had to look up on Google. So I just say, hey Google, can dogs have mangoes? And she'll tell me because I have one of these displays right here.
They say, have you ever wondered, can dogs eat mango? The answer is yes, they can. This fruit is full of vitamins and safe for your pup to consume, as long as it's peeled and the pit is removed.
So I gave her a piece and she absolutely loves it, but she likes most fruit. And another tip, when you're chopping this, don't chop it on the curved side. Flip it over to where the flat side is down. It makes it more stable, so you're not as likely to cut yourself. So now that I know she likes mangoes, I don't know how much more I'm gonna be able to get in my blender, but it's all good. One day I'm gonna figure out how to speed it up. I know the app that I'm using will do that, but I'll have to play with that some other time. I've got a busy day today. When I finish this, I'm going out in the garden, and then I have my TRX class today, and we have a concert tonight. We're gonna go see Chris Stapleton, and I am so excited to see him. I love his music. But anyway, I will finish this one and we will be right back. Okay, so now that I have everything chopped up, I'm gonna pulverize it in the blender and see how many cups I have before I add the sugar, because that's 3/4 of a cup of sugar for 3 cups of fruit, so we will see. So this is going to be really loud. I apologize. Okay, it helps if it's plugged in correctly. This should work. Here we go. Okay, so this is done. So I have right at 4 cups of mango puree. So since it's 3/4 of a cup for 3 cups, so 3/4 of a cup of sugar for 3 cups of puree, I'm going to add a whole cup, because that would be 1/4 of a cup for each cup of fruit. So who says you don't need math? And doing stuff like this is good to do with kids in the kitchen and start asking them those questions. Like, hey, if it needs 3/4 of a cup for 3 cups of fruit puree, how many would it need for 4? And wait a little bit before you just hop in and help them, because they can figure it out. Sometimes they just need a little bit of time to think about it. And if their way of thinking about it is different than yours, that's okay. Because there's many different ways to come up with a correct answer and many different approaches. So just because they don't use your approach doesn't mean that they're wrong. And there are many math teachers, unfortunately, that think that way. So just give it a little wait time, is what we call it in education, and see what they come up with. They'll surprise you a lot of times, and it's a good way to teach them about fractions and recipe conversion and all of that. So get your kids in the kitchen. Steve's kids love it. My kids did too when they were younger. Now they're teenagers and too cool for school. So I'm going to blend this again, and I added the juice of 1 lemon, sorry. And I'm just going to blend this until smooth, and I will come back, or till it's like everything's incorporated, then I'll come back. You don't need to hear my blender. Okay, so I had that going for about another minute or 2. And now we're finished with the blender. We're just going to take the puree, and it looks so good and smells good. I love mangoes. It's very tropical. And then I'm going to take and pour it in my trays. So I learned from the blueberry ones to not make it so thin, because then it becomes brittle. And if it's a little bit thicker, it's more like fruit leather. So there we go. Again, you can do this in the oven. I think it's like 200 degrees. You could spread it out on parchment paper. I don't know the times. There's recipes that you can Google online. My mom is like, she would ask me all these questions. I'd be like, Google it, Mom. So now she's like, I Google everything. It's like, that's what it's there for. Google's awesome. Just like I asked Google if you know who could have a mango. She came running in here next to me, so I'm not wanting to say her name, hoping she'll stay quiet, but so that's how I know what she can eat sometimes as far as fruits and veggies and what she can't. So thank God for Google. Alright, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And again, this is a learning curve for me. The last one I didn't have to do in the blender. That should be maybe, I don't know if it'll make it another video or just add the two together. I'll probably just make it two separate videos because it was already pureed because I made the barbecue syrup. And by the way, that barbecue or blueberry barbecue sauce is amazing. Steve loves it. We had some last night on some pork ribs, and I will have to say it was really good. I adjusted that out a little bit. I may try the one on the bottom because it looked like it was puffing up just a little there on the sides. So I guess that was the issue. And I could take this tray off and just do it by itself, but it's okay the way it is. So I may actually get 4 of these. There we go. Just add if it seems too thin, because like I said, when it dries and it's that thin or as thin as I made some of the blueberry, it was just so brittle. It's still good. It's just not chewy as much as it's just like blueberry brittle. So if that's the way you want it, make it thinner. If you want it more chewy, make it a little bit thicker. And I bet we could do, put that in there. Just shake it around and make it a more even distribution. I'm just going to check the side on some of this. Yep. And I'm going to do the same thing. And you can kind of tell if it pops up on the end because it looks like it's pushing the mango away. Okay. 3 at least, maybe 4. I don't know, 4 may be pushing it. Steve was excited about this one. He kept reminding the boys about the blueberries and they liked those too. So this might be something I have to keep going, and I'll lift that and wipe it out. In the winter, I just dropped some mango down the center. I'm a little bit OCD, so I'll wipe that out before I turn it on. The boys were funny because they were watching the videos while they were at their mom's, and they were like, "Can we drink the blueberry syrup?" is what they asked their dad on the way home. I was like, yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Like we could probably take the blueberry syrup and make like blueberry lemonade. Because basically it's just like blueberry concentrate that's sweetened. And we did have it on the pancakes last weekend, where I made pancakes and we put the blueberry syrup on them, blueberry pancakes actually. So it was like double days of blueberries. And it was so good, so good. So I'm gonna see if there are any that just needs like a little bit here and there, because I don't have enough to do a whole nother layer. So I'm just gonna even this out, and then I'm going to turn the dehydrator on and have it do its thing. I'm gonna put a little bit more on this one, I think. And go out in the garden and get that going, then come back in and have breakfast and let that digest before I go to TRX. So busy day today, busy day tomorrow. I'm going shopping with a friend of mine, I need some stuff for the wedding in October. I'm making my own centerpieces, so there's that. I'm gonna take, since I'm not gonna be using this silicone tray or whatever you call it, I'm gonna take it out so air can circulate a little bit more freely. There we go. And then we just turn it on. And that's it. So I will show you the finished product when it's done. That didn't take long at all. Just a little bit less than 20 minutes. And you have homemade fruit leather. You know what's in it. Not a whole lot of sugar. You could omit the sugar if you want to. Just depends on how sweet you want it. So just play around with it and see what you can come up with. We'll be back. So the mango fruit leather has finally finished. It took a long time, I think because it's juicier and stickier, I don't know. But it took probably 14 plus hours. So I'm going to work on getting that sliced this morning. There's a lot going on in the kitchen this morning. I've got carnitas going for dinner tonight. We get the boys. Steve's boys comes home. And I'm also making the second part of the chicken stock, which is another video, but it's going right now, but I'll show you. And it smells so good. So, but right now, we're gonna focus on fruit leather and Cinnamon barking at us because she wants attention, like I never give her any. So I am going to get some parchment paper to put down here just so the mango doesn't stick. It shouldn't, but it's still a little bit tacky. It's tackier than the blueberries. So I'm just going to take my little circular trays out and peel back the fruit leather. And this smelled so good, but it is sticky. And I made this because one of my co-workers wanted mango fruit leather when I was talking about making blueberry fruit leather on Facebook. She was like, how about mangoes? And I was like, all right, twist my arm, I'll make mango fruit leather. So I got some mangoes, and here we go. So Olympia, this is for you. So I'm just going to sit here and slice this. I am going to taste it to see how it is. And then that's all there is to making mango fruit leather. That is good. It is going to be hard to find my favorite because it is all so very good. This one's harder to cut. But you can experiment. You could do mango, you can do cherry, you can do strawberry. It's all the same process. Just blend it in a blender, 3 cups, and then add 3/4 of a cup of sugar or less if you want, and some lemon juice. I think it's a tablespoon or a couple of teaspoons, and put it in your dehydrator or oven. Now I don't know all the details for the oven like I said before, but that's all there is to it. So have a good day. Don't forget to subscribe and have fun.